Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where in the world you currently are. My name is Stacey Erdman, and I served as the chair of NDSA's Digital Preservation Conference, which was held November 15th through 16th in St. Louis, Missouri. I want to welcome you to our virtual Redux event. If you were unable to join us in St. Louis back in November, well, you missed a great event. The conference was held at the historic St. Louis Union Station, which was notably used as a filming location for one of my favorite movies, the 1981 dystopian movie Escape from New York. It was a little weird to be at an event focused on technology in a location I so strongly associate with the collapse of civilization, but perhaps it was appropriate given the current climate we find ourselves in. That climate, both social and ecological, is a little crazy right now. So it's important to remember that our work does not happen in a vacuum. And that brings me to the DigiPres 2023 theme for this year, which is communities of time and place. Communities are at the heart of digital stewardship work, underpinning all of the work that we do. Communities emerge from events and experiences, with those groups engaging in collective sense-making to develop a shared understanding of events. Communities can be persistent or transient, dynamic or shifting, but all are firmly rooted to both time and place. We invited presenters to craft proposals centered on 3 sub-themes, which are applicable to physical as well as digital spaces. These include collaboration, sustainability, and infrastructure. And although not everyone who presented in St. Louis will be joining us for the virtual event, we have a great lineup for today and tomorrow. You can find the schedule of presentations on the NDSA website under the Conferences tab. Also, please check out our OSF repository page for DigiPres 2023. You'll be able to find slides and other materials from presenters from both the St. Louis event and the virtual event. I would also like to remind everyone that although we are attending a virtual event right now, the NDSA's Code of Conduct remains in effect. The NDSA strives to create safe, accessible, welcoming, and inclusive conferences regardless of format. The Code of Conduct is available on our website at ndsa.org/about/code of conduct, and any potential violations may be reported to conduct@ndsa.org. I'd like to thank NDSA's host organization, the Council on Library and Information Resources, and the Digital Library Federation for all of their hard work on the St. Louis conference. I want to especially thank Aaliyah Reich, Louisa Quasigra, and Wayne Graham for their ongoing support of the NDSA. Additionally, I would like to thank the members of the NDSA leadership team. Some of these folks volunteered to serve as moderators at the conference and helped provide valuable input to our planning process throughout 2023. I especially want to thank 2023 Chair Hannah Wong and Vice Chair Bethany Scott for working with Deirdre and I closely on the event. And finally, I would like to thank our amazing program committee. These folks volunteered their time, energy, and expertise to put together a memorable event. And while I appreciate the work of everyone on this list, I especially want to single out the bolded names here, as these are the folks who are helping to moderate sessions for our virtual event. Deirdre was our awesome vice chair, but she really took on the planning for this virtual event early on, and for that, I am super thankful. So let's give her a round of virtual applause. Thank you also to Chelsea Denal, Carol Kussman, Panos Papageorgiou, Jessica Branco-Colati, and Tom Polhamus for serving as moderators. And thanks to you for attending this event. We hope to see you again in person at a reimagined DigiPres event in the not so distant future.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're tuning in the world, I'd like to take a few minutes to welcome you to this virtual gathering. We are following up on the 2023 Digital Preservation Conference. My name is Bethany Scott, and I'm proud to serve as chair of the NDSA Coordinating Committee this year and to participate in this virtual event. One of NDSA's guiding principles is collaboration, exchange of ideas, and inclusiveness. And it's with that spirit that we are bringing you this event. providing NDSA members and anyone in the digital preservation community who couldn't attend the in-person conference with the opportunity to engage with our presenters and hear from NDSA's interest groups and working groups. In the next 10 minutes or so, I will give some highlights from NDSA's activities last year and a look ahead at our plans for 2024. Before I jump in, though, I wanted to give a big shout out to Stacey Erdman and Deirdre Joyce, the chair and vice chair of the 2023 conference committee and the organizers of this virtual event. The 2023 Digital Preservation Conference, which took place in St. Louis in November, was a welcome opportunity to connect with colleagues, hear about their work, and find opportunities for future collaborations. It was also a chance to celebrate groups and individuals who have made outstanding contributions to the field of digital stewardship through our Excellence Awards. So thank you so much to Stacey and Deirdre for all the thoughtfulness and hard work that you put into planning not one, but two big events for us this year. And thank you as well to the entire conference planning committee, all the presenters, attendees, and our hosts for making these events a great success. So to start off, I'll give a few highlights on our activities and accomplishments in 2023. NDSA welcomed 10 new member organizations throughout the year, including a variety of academic institutions, nonprofits, and commercial digital preservation service providers. We initiated the next iteration of the Storage Survey, a longitudinal research study designed to gain insight into how organizations worldwide use preservation storage to ensure long-term access to their digital content, and also how their real-world capacity differs from the stated best practices. This survey closed late last year, and the group is currently working on analyzing the data and authoring its report. Also in 2023, NDSA leadership approved the formation of a new Climate Watch working group to help the profession address how we can adapt our practices and policies to the uncertain future that is posed by climate change. And finally, the membership working group continued its activities to gather data on NDSA member and non-member experiences, with the goal of improving the NDSA membership experience. To that end, the group held 2 listening forums and conducted 10 one-on-one interviews to gain further feedback and develop suggestions for future membership models and a new onboarding process, providing more value and opportunities for new members to engage with NDSA. As an all-volunteer run organization, NDSA relies on contributions of our members' time and effort, and I greatly appreciate the participation in all of the working groups and interest groups that creates this robust community of practice. 2 other groups were actively working on NDSA's conference planning last year. While the DigiPres Planning Committee was hard at work organizing the 2023 conference, the long-term conference planning working group was reimagining what the future of the conference might look like. Like many organizations, NDSA held a virtual conference in 2020 and 2021, which allowed us to have greater attendance and a farther reach than ever before. Even as we held in-person conferences in 2022 and 23, we were aware that returning to a pre-pandemic status quo was not feasible or desirable for many members of our community. We received feedback on the format, length, cost, and content of the conference, and we wanted to address the concerns and barriers that we heard from that feedback. A little over a year ago, we spun up the Long-Term Conference Planning Working Group with the goal of examining NDSA's annual conference practices and making strategic recommendations on the future of NDSA conferencing and events. Throughout 2023, the group gathered information about a variety of conference models from other organizations and participated in facilitated discussion to brainstorm how we might make in-person NDSA events more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable. The Long-Term Conference Planning Working Group delivered their recommendations in November 2023. They recommended that NDSA lengthen the interval between its national in-person conferences and create a clear mission statement for those in-person gatherings. They have also recommended that NDSA explore the implementation of smaller designated community events that could be held in partnership with other national or regional organizations. These recommendations suggest that our membership wants to see a more holistic strategy for programming and events held by NDSA, and this deserves time and careful consideration to implement. And so with that in mind, in lieu of an in-person conference in 2024, we are going to focus our energy on implementing and building on these recommendations. We have charged a new working group for NDSA event strategy, which will be recruiting volunteer members to begin work in March of this year. So if you might have otherwise been involved in planning or preparing for DigiPres, if you have participated in the conference planning in the past or have other experience with programming and events, or if you're generally interested in setting the direction for future conferences and events, please keep an eye out for the call for volunteers and consider taking part in the NDSA Event Strategy Working Group this year. And in other big news for NDSA, over the past week or so, you may have seen that NDSA is seeking expressions of interest for a new organizational host to begin in 2025. Under its hosting relationship with CLEAR, the Council on Library and Information Resources, over the past 7 years, NDSA has thrived and evolved into the active volunteer alliance that it is today. Recently, NDSA leadership conducted an analysis of its needs from a host organization to ensure that we are aligned in mission, vision, and values to best serve as national leaders in the field of digital preservation. We want to be more nimble and responsive to the feedback gained from groups like the membership and long-term conference planning that I mentioned before. And we also want to take a responsible and sustainable approach so that NDSA can continue the important work of advocating for the common needs of its members and convening a national community of practice for digital stewardship. So this is a major point in NDSA's nearly 15-year-long history, and I'm grateful for the thoughtful contributions of our coordinating committee and the other members of the leadership team who have developed a strong identity and a vital active NDSA community to carry forward into the future. And I also would like to say that I welcome your thoughts and feedback as we embark on this organizational alignment process over the course of this year. So please feel free to reach out via email at ndsa.digipres@gmail.com. So with that, I won't take up any more time. I will go ahead and wrap up this introduction to the Digital Preservation Virtual Gathering. Thank you very much for your attendance and participation today, and I look forward to engaging with you all throughout these sessions. Thanks again.